all the games and all the reasoning for Montreal struggling and all this kind of stuff. They're 4-8-1 right now. Lost a bad one last night in Minnesota. All these things piling up. Last night was one where I watched and went, that one was because of goaltending. That was just, and one he got crossed up on, and it doesn't matter. It's just, there's some, last night, Carey Price looked different. Whether you're reading his body language and it wasn't engaged, or I don't know. There was just something.
Yeah, he did not look, those two goals, he did not look like Carey Price or even like an NHL goalie on those two goals. That's hard. How often have we said that in the last 8 years about Carey Price?
Never.
Right.
Never.
It's unbelievable.
Their goal differential, I mean, I'm not a big numbers guy, but when you look at their goal differential, there's only one team in the NHL worse, Arizona, -24, and the Canadiens are -17. And we always looked at their numbers over the last few years and would say, well, thank goodness for Carey. Carey's kept them in that single digits, but
don't you think he will? Don't you think he will get it going? Like he's had last year, he had a bad stretch too there for a while. Remember, and he's. I gotta believe he's going to get it going.
Well, I mean, if we remember the last 2 years, Montreal was always off to those great starts. I mean, where October was so positive for them. Now October was so negative for them. You have to think that it's going to revert at some point the other way. The fact that they were able to score
against Ottawa, right?
Well, the fact that they scored 13 goals in 2 games, the excuse was they couldn't score goals. Now we have seen them score some goals, so we know it's there. But in the end, to me, we talked at the top of the show about how everything was really, from a defensive side, an issue for the Maple Leafs. In the end, isn't it the same thing for Montreal, how they move the puck out of their own zone and what their guys do, Doug?
Yeah, I still don't. I mean, they're too slow back there. But so what do you do when Carey is Carey? Do you go with Montoya more?
No, here's the thing. We're gonna get to a point. Well, we're at the point now where it's gonna happen, and we're gonna have to decide
what's gonna happen.
That Al Montoya is going to start back to back.
Right. That's a big question. I mean, a big win.
Who would you start tomorrow in Winnipeg?
Carey Price.
I would too.
Carey Price.
I have a hard time saying Al Montoya when Carey Price is my option.
Montoya is a former Jet.
I know.
I don't know. No, I'm trying to think of ways you could justify it. Okay.
The win in Ottawa. The win in Ottawa is how you justify it.
I got 9 years with Carey Price. That's how I justify playing Carey Price. Right. I mean, I'm committed to this guy for a long, long time. He better play out of it.
What makes him different than Henrik Lundqvist, which the Rangers last couple of years have gone away from for consecutive games, different stretches? Like if Al Montoya would have stunk out the joint in Ottawa, okay.
But what was the final score?
I know it was 8-5.
8-5.
Yeah.
He wasn't George Vezina, or as some people call him, George Vezina.
The difference for me with Lundqvist and Price is I'm just a lukewarm Al Montoya guy. And I think the Rangers have had great backups the last few years prior to this year. I'm not a Pavlik guy, but I was a Talbot, and Aranta was good there. So and Al Montoya has been a good backup when he plays sparingly. I wouldn't give him the ball. I wouldn't. I'd use them like they're using them.
So you would still go back to Carey Price tomorrow?
Price because they have no chance of making the playoffs. Absolutely zero chance of making the playoffs unless Carey Price gets his game going. And to me, play him so he gets his game going.
I agree. I mean, I think that's what you have to do. I mean, I don't think there's much question. I mean,
it's a big step just to have a
Price. Carey Price can get them back in this race. Carey Price can.
It's a big step just to have the conversation.
He's the one guy that if I'm Claude Julien, and I'm not, I can assure you that from my bank account, that I would be walking up to Carey Price almost every day and saying, listen, do you want to play tonight? And give Price the choice. And the moment that Carey Price tells me, you know what, I need a day off, then you give him the day off. But to me, it's Price until he can't even stand up.